Question 21. The area graph shows the costs and profits for a business over a period of time. The information in the area graph is then displayed as a line graph. Which of the following line graphs best displays the data from the area graph? Let's analyse this area graph in more detail. We can see that it consists of two line graphs, one above the other, that do not meet or intersect at any point. Now, the bottom line graph represents costs. The top line graph would represent revenue. And the gap or the difference between the two line graphs, and specifically the vertical distance or gap between the two line graphs, would represent profit. So that's revenue minus costs. Now we can see that from the left-hand side here up to this point here on the area graph, the gap between the two line graphs is constant. And that means that the profit, or the amount of money being made, is constant from this point in time to this point in time. From this point in time onwards, we can see that the gap is starting to narrow, which means that the profit is reducing or getting less and less as we go from this point to this point here. Let's consider the four options, and specifically the dashed line that represents profit. So what we're looking for is a dashed line that is horizontal to begin with, and that represents constant profit, or the same profit over a period of time, and then the profit getting less and less. So in other words, the dashed line approaching the x-axis from a certain point in time right through to the right-hand side, or right to the end of the x-axis. And the only option that gives us that is option B. So we can see here that the profit is constant to begin with, but then the profit starts to reduce and gets closer to the x-axis as we move from this point here to the right-hand side. Therefore, the correct answer is option B.